Thanks for joining me today. This lesson's called Materials and Energy. But before we get started, let's review what we've learned so far. In the last lesson, we learned how to move, rotate, duplicate, and undo. Now, hopefully all of that's still fresh in your mind. If it isn't, you should go back and watch the earlier video because you're going to need those four skills in order to move forward with today's lesson. If you're ready to move on, let's take a look at our scene. There are two game objects. And these objects are actually similar to the ones we were working with in the last lesson. We have a ball, and we have a ground. Let's see how they interact. I'm going to hit the play button. Sure enough, the ball falls and hits the ground. So we're really not dealing with anything that different today, except if we take a good look at our workspace, we can see we now have a brand new tab. To the right of the Scene tab is the Inspector, and in Unity, the inspector does a very similar job to what an inspector might do in the real world. The inspector gives us information and clues about an object. So with the ground selected, I can see all this information is popped up in the inspector. That information is grouped into what we refer to as components. This ground actually has 3 components on it. We're going to take a look at 2 of them right now. We're going to look at the Sprite Renderer. Now that word sprite might be familiar to you, and the easiest way for me to show you what a sprite is and how the Sprite Renderer works is for me to turn it off. I can just uncheck this box next to the word Sprite Renderer. We can see that platform disappears in our scene. I'm going to hit that play button again. And let's see, we would expect that the ball would keep falling, only it doesn't. So that gives us a clue right away that this object, this ground, isn't just made out of an image. There's more to it than that. I'm going to turn my Sprite Renderer back on, and I'm going to open up the next component, which is called the box collider. Colliders are really important in Unity, and you're going to be using them a lot in this lesson and in all lessons going forward. Let me open up the collider, and I'm going to turn the collider off this time. I'm going to uncheck that box, and I'm going to drop that ball again. This time we can see the ball keeps going. That's because while the Sprite Renderer might show us how an object looks, many of the physical properties of that object are actually contained in the collider. It's the collider that makes this a solid object. Colliders have another important job. They can tell us what material the object is made out of. In this case, we can see that this ground is made out of concrete. I'm going to hit play and we'll actually do this ball drop. Let's look at how the two objects interact. And it makes sense to me that this platform would be made out of concrete. The way that the ball stops immediately when it hits the platform lets us know it's made out of something dense. But what if I wanted to change what my platform was made out of? In this case, I'd like to make this platform bouncy. Changing a material is actually pretty easy. If you look off to the right of the material name, we can see a small circle with a dot in the middle. It looks a little bit like a bullseye. If I click that circle, I can now see that I have more than one choice of material. I'm going to turn this platform into rubber. Let's do the ball drop again and see how these two objects interact now. That certainly seems like a rubber platform to me. So what I'd like you to do at this time is I'd like you to pause the video. Then I'd like you to change the material of one of your gray platforms. Right now, they'll be made out of concrete. You're going to need to go into the inspector, find the collider, locate the material field, click on the little circle to the right of the material name, and choose a new material. Go and do that, and when you're ready, come back and we'll move on. So now we know how to use the inspector, we're starting to understand how to use colliders, and we know how to change the material of an object. But the inspector will also let you change the properties of a material. Right now our platform is made out of rubber, and we know that that ball bounces. But what if we wanted to make it bouncier? In the inspector, you just need to find the material name. I'm going to double-click on the name rubber, and now I have the option to change the bounciness. We can see that we're starting at 0.8, which is a very small number. So for my first test, I'm only going to turn the bounciness up a little bit. Instead of 0.8, I'm going to change it to 1.2. Let's see how much of an effect this small adjustment makes. I'm going to hit play. Let's do the ball drop again. This time we can see the platform is definitely bouncier. As well, we can see that the ball bounces higher each time it hits the platform. By changing the bounciness of the platform, we're actually allowing the ball to add more energy to the system. Each time the ball falls, energy is transferred into the rubber platform and then transferred back into the ball, allowing it to go higher. Then factors like speed, mass of the ball, and gravity add even more energy to the system so that the next bounce will take the ball even higher. Your project for today is going to require you to add energy to the system, so it's important that you understand this. What I'd like you to do right now is to pause this video. Then I'd like you to change the properties of a material. You're going to need to select one of your platforms. You're going to need to double click on the material name, rubber, and adjust the bounciness. Feel free to experiment and see what kind of effect an increased bounciness has on the way that the ball interacts with the platform. Do that, and when you're ready, come back and we'll move on. Now we know how to change the properties of a material. Now keep in mind, when you make the changes to a material, you're changing the material itself. That means that if other platforms or other objects use that material, they're going to be affected as well. Let me show you what I mean. We have several green objects in this scene, and they all share a material called green. If I double click on green and I change the bounciness to 3.2, we can see now that all of these objects have a green material with a bounciness of 3.2. So it's just important to note that changing a material affects every object that shares that material. So now you're ready to get started on your project. Today we're going to be building a pinball game. These are the objects you're going to be working with, and the object of the game will be to get 200 points in 1 minute. That means that some of these objects give you points. You're going to have to experiment to figure out which ones give you points and how much they give you. The way you're going to move the ball around on the screen is using these blue paddles. Let me show you how they work. With the paddles, the left arrow will move the left paddle, the right arrow will move the right paddle, and the spacebar will move both at once. In order to keep the ball moving around within your game, you're going to need to apply bounciness to certain objects. Here we have a purple object, a pink object, and several green objects. There are materials that are specific to these objects. There's a purple material, a pink material, and a green material. And these materials have been set up with a very low bounciness. So one of the first things you're going to need to do is to increase the bounciness of these various different colored materials. Then you're going to start building your game. Your game doesn't need to look like this one. You can choose any layout you want. You can use your imagination. But you do need to be able to move the ball around within the game and score points. Also, any ball that falls off the screen will go out of play. So you need to keep the balls within the game area in order to keep playing. If you feel like you have enough information to get started, feel free to jump into your project right now. If you'd like more information, stick around because I'm going to give you some helpful hints and tips, and I'm also going to give you a quick run through of how this game works. If you stuck around looking for more information, I'm going to give you a few tips. For starters, you can have more than one ball in your scene. I want to show you something. I've duplicated the ball, so I have 3, and you can see that it actually tells me how many balls I have in play. Watch what happens if I duplicate it again, and yet again. When I hit play, it will tell me I now have 5 balls. Now this is important because that means I have 5 chances to keep the game going. But if all 5 of these balls fall off the screen, then it's game over for me. Here's another tip about using colliders. For this example, I'm actually going to put 2 bouncy platforms pretty close together. I'm going to up my bounciness a little bit, and I'm going to put a ball in between. Now we know because they're both bouncy, that ball is going to pick up energy as it hits each platform. And sure enough, check out what happened. That ball actually flew right off the screen. It went through an object that we know is solid. The collider didn't disappear. It's still there. The reason that this happens is that if a ball gets moving too quickly, it actually passes through the object before the collider can actually register that it was there. Remember, this is a little bit of code that's actually working to tell Unity that this object is solid. If the ball's moving too quickly, it will pass straight through the platform. So, one of your challenges when you're working on building your game is not making your ball go too fast. If the ball's moving too quickly, it can actually fly out through one of your platforms and your game will be over. So, one of your challenges is really going to be seeing how you can slow the ball down in some situations. It's really about controlling the movement and the path of the ball. So, just keep that in mind when you're working on your game. If you feel like you have enough information, go ahead and get started on your project. If you'd like to see how this game works, I'll give you a full walkthrough in just a moment. Now I'm going to take you through a quick run through of this game just to show you how it plays. Hopefully it'll give you a little bit of insight into the mechanics and how all these different game objects work. Maybe also give you some inspiration when you're building your own game. So you can see, first of all, that I have 3 sets of bumpers. I just duplicated those and positioned them around throughout my game. They all use the same controls. So if I hit the space bar, it's going to move all of the paddles at once, or the right arrow, the left arrow will move the corresponding paddles. You can also see that I put my highest scoring bumpers at the very top of my game to make them harder to get to, but I changed the material and the bounciness so that the ball would pick up more energy, which would allow it to travel higher. I'd be able to get it up to those second set of bumpers so that I could push it up into that higher, more challenging level and get points more quickly. I also threw in a couple of other bouncy objects just to help add more energy to the system and keep the balls moving. Remember, the more you experiment, the better your project is going to be. This is just to give you an idea, just to get you started. Good luck with your project. I can't wait to see what you've built, and I'll see you in the next lesson.